So do you think there's something bigger going on here in terms of a cultural shift where identity's just, becoming more and more fluid, and if you feel it, you should do it? I mean, you feel like you're part of this cultural shift?
Yeah, I think so in some way for sure. Just trying to be, again, going back to everybody has tattoos, just trying to be unique and stand out in a world where, that's harder and harder to do. For some of them, it is, the range of people I see is incredible. There's people that look like they could just be a librarian.
Really?
It's like, really?
Welcome back to the Attorneys on Accident podcast with your host, Joe Worth, and the lovely Ash Blackburn. We are here with Tom Lawler. Tom is a cosmetic dentist, but we're going to try really, really hard to bury the lead on this one because we're going to try to set this up. Anyone listening, watching, I can promise you're not going to know where this is going to take a turn and where it's going to go, but you're going to want to find out. Tom has carved out a niche in the cosmetic dentistry world that, let's just say, you're not going to be able to predict.
Caters to unique.
It's part of a cultural shift, maybe.
There we go.
Cultural shift, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like something's going on out there, but I said we're going to bury the lead. So before we go too far down that road, we had your wife on, Chrissy.
Yep.
And she hyped you, man. Your energy's got to come up because she said that you're more of an extrovert than she is, and I'm like, really? Because you were pretty engaging. And
wives do that; they hype you up, but I'm the shy one in the relationship. She just,
I was skeptical.
Talks me up, so
definitely.
I'll pretend.
Yeah, but she was awesome. She's the baby sleep expert, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's 15 years a marriage and family therapist.
Yep.
I know that my first thought is always, what's that like? I mean, is it mostly good, or do you just give up like in the beginning? You just kind of go, you know what? I'm just gonna, whatever she says, I'm just gonna go with it. Like, do you just give her your manhood and say, shape it?
I feel like it's evolved as she's gotten more experience too over the years. Mm-hmm. I come from a family where we never talked about emotions. Mm-hmm. I was so emotionally unaware of anything in my life. Like, I was totally clueless. And now I feel like I can, literally last night we had dinner with like her team of therapists, and like I can talk the talk with them and talk about,
you can hang.
Triangulation and Enneagram types.
Narcissistic behavior.
Exactly.
You've beyond just like what color's your parachute, all of the different like personality tests. And, your number, your.
But you're pretty much always wrong if you're married to a therapist. They know the inside tricks and can pick you apart. So
she psycho.
Yeah, you just give into it.
Right?
Yeah. You can't win those, so you just give into it.
Probably nice though. You just give up quickly.
Yeah.
Sort of like move past it.
Yeah, don't pretend. Don't have some kind of false hope or think you know what's going on. Just give in and it'll be okay.
Yeah, well, she's awesome. If you're a fraction of how great she is, it's going to be an amazing podcast. So people know what they're getting into. We do need a little bit of background. Tell us about your journey on becoming a cosmetic dentist.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start early. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas.
We said, is there anything off limits? You said talking about the Cowboys.
Yeah, the last 31 years of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll leave that be. So grew up there, moved overseas to Germany in high school. My dad worked for the military. That is where, I don't know if you talked about this with Chrissy, that's where we met actually. She was a foreign exchange student and sometimes would come hang out with the American kids.
Really?
And that's how we met. We didn't date in high school, but we re-met later at college at Brigham Young. And
accidentally, or?
We did a little get together of the friend group that was at BYU that had also been in Germany, and went on a date, and
the rest is history.
10 months later, we're married, as it goes.
Oh my gosh.
Why'd you like Germany?
Oh man, I'd barely left Texas. So I finally got to see something else of the world. It was just a whole different experience that like opened my eyes to everything. I love the German people. I love their culture and their food. Like, it was so awesome. But yeah, we lived in this little village, like out on the outskirts, and, you know, just got to experience something totally different than Texas. And so I did my Mormon mission. I thought all the guys I knew there got called back to go to Germany, and I was like, I'm going to go to Germany again, and I'll learn German this time. And then
Did you do it?
No, I was called to Ogden, Utah.
Oh, jeez, Tom.
Yeah.
That's just so you know, that's like the worst of the worst.
Yeah, see, Ogden's a special place.
First of all, you don't want to get called to Utah for obvious reasons, but then like the heart. Yeah. Anyways, go on.
Yeah. Who are you bringing into the church?
I was
Utah?
Spanish speaking, so there was that.
Oh.
So mostly working with like the immigrant population there. But yeah, Ogden's a weird place. It's the only city, don't quote me on this, but I believe the only city in Utah that wasn't founded by the Mormons. It was the Transcontinental Railroad city. So it's got this odd, like, nomadic railroad beginnings mixed with like just all these
That's where the
characters.
gypsies go.
There's more bars in Ogden. There's more alcohol flowing in Ogden.
There's a lot going on there. So when I was on my mission, my companion that I was with needed a bunch of fillings, and the dentist, so I have to be in the room. You're always like with them. And the dentist that was doing his fillings was like, "Do you want to come watch this?" And I was like, "Okay." And then I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool." Like, I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do career-wise, and I was like, maybe I'll be a dentist. And I never came up with any better idea after that, so we went with it. I became a dentist.
Stuck.
Yeah.
Just
So
fascinating watching those fillings.
yeah, I mean, because I always liked art and science, and that was kind of a blend. And I was like, I could do this. Like, this is cool. My grandpa was a dentist. He died when I was a baby, so it's not like I got to see him or he didn't show me the ropes, but I knew he was well respected in the town where my parents grew up, and I was like, this is cool. Let's do this.
I was telling Ash, the guest that we had on yesterday is orthodontist here in town. He's got 3 offices, Truman Orthodontics, and it didn't come up on the podcast, but I mentioned to Ash that he's really good at art. Like, there's still some paintings that he'll kind of like, you know, in the closet, and they'll come out every once in a while. And you're like, wow. And you forget that like so much of dentistry is art, right? I mean,
Totally.
and
Like hand control. And so sometimes I'll be like writing out a prescription or something, and somebody's like, "You have great handwriting." And I was like, you should expect that from your dentist that, you know, has to do all these like little detailed movements with your hand. Like, I'd be more afraid of the one that, you know, writes like a first grader.
right.
So, yeah, so I went into dentistry. I went to what's now Texas A&M University College of Dentistry. At the time, it was Baylor. And then we came out to Las Vegas after I graduated, and I worked for my wife's uncle in a huge office that was like 17 chairs and
Too many.
5 dentists. Too many.
Well, why didn't you like that? What was it about that size and the chaos that didn't speak to your soul?
There were so many hand pieces going at any given time that it just like the baseline cortisol you felt there was
Off the charts.
yeah. And the second somebody canceled on your schedule, you couldn't get a deep breath. Like, there was another person to fill it in. And then I remember I would be on call, you know, for the weekends. We kind of took turns on that, and there was 10,000 patients. And so I was always having to respond to calls and go in, and I was like, whoa, I'm not a real doctor. Like, I went into dentistry to have my weekends. So.
Right.
Yeah. So during that time, though, I did get an appreciation for cosmetic dentistry because I was doing kind of everything. And I realized real quick, like, oh, this is the one thing people want. This is the one thing they're excited to come in for is to make their teeth look nicer. Nobody wants to get a crown. Nobody wants to get a filling.
Yeah. Do you flex more of the artistry muscle with the cosmetic?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Too,
yeah.
Both during and like in the planning stages and like designing smiles and those kind of things. So, yeah, I learned real quick that I like this because people want this. And they're very excited after it happens. And so I dove in and did a bunch of continuing education in that and kind of started to do more and more cosmetic dentistry. I hit a point where I was so sick of the big practice that I decided time to go, time to look for my next thing. I was looking for a practice to buy. COVID hit, and everything got real weird real fast. I ended up sticking around a few more months, but then I left. I got contacted by who is now my partner, Michaela Tazi. She was about to have a baby and said she needed somebody to cover for maternity leave at her practice. So I went and I told her I'll be here a couple months and help out, but I'm going to be doing my own thing. And she said, no worries. That turned into a couple of years once stuff didn't quite pan out. And eventually, she was like, I want to do a boutique cosmetic practice. Do you want to partner with me on this? And I was like, let's go. So that was 2.5 years ago. We opened August 2023, Vegas Smile Suite, and it's a luxury office. We do general dentistry. So if you need a regular filling, I'll still be the one. We do cleanings.
Yeah, but you'll get champagne when you walk in.
But you get some champagne, yeah. So it takes the edge off a little.
And is it one at a time?
We double up, and no one's asked for that, but yeah.
Your wife just mentioned that like you opened this practice wanting it to be very, very high end and bougie and an experience. And so, I mean, there's not a lot of traffic when you're there.
No, I'm not bouncing around between patients. Like I'm with who I'm with, and there's not, 10 hand pieces going at once. It just feels calm.
It's a real chat.
Yeah. The bar in dentistry is set so low. Every office is so cramped and just
waiting for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and smells weird and so it's not like it was particularly hard to do better than that, but we try to make it an experience that's different than most dental offices in every way possible.
What was the thought process of going that direction?
Of which direction?
Of just doing a boutique style dentistry office.
Well, one is that anything you do with insurances makes you want to jump off a bridge.
Yes. We hear that a lot. We jump
with insurance, yeah.
They're awful.
It's awful, yeah.
The patients are constantly mad at you. Like they try and pit patient against dentist when they're the ones that are screwing everybody over. You waste a ton of time and money and manpower just trying to get paid for simple things. They deny as much as they can, not surprisingly. So we want to do something that was not related to insurances. So we're a fee-for-service office. We're not in network with anything, but there's plenty of people that still come because, same with like concierge medicine. At some point, you're just like, I can't keep going through these
agreed.
awful experiences.
It wears you out.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm talking to people lately, and there's just this general fatigue, even with trying to unsubscribe, and then you got to do this to get here. And I think there's people that are just saying, I'm willing to pay a certain amount of money to not have to go through this, to not have to deal with this, and it's just it's affecting my energy.
Because it turns out that you end up spending that much in insurance, but you don't go because it's such a hassle. So yeah, I have a concierge doctor, and it's like I call him up because I know what I have, and I'm like, this is what's going on. Okay, yep, come in for a second, get your medication, and I'm done within a couple hours. So
totally,
and on the mend.
Not all these hoops that we have to jump through. Like you have to submit with every procedure x-rays of this and this, and it's like, all right, well, that's excessive radiation. Like, you don't need that x-ray. Like, I just have to do this for you guys, and just stuff like that where you're like, this doesn't give me warm fuzzies.
Yeah.
So your wife mentioned when you started, though, it was kind of, if you build it, they will come. Where are they? They're not coming. And you had a few, I don't know if it was days or weeks or months, but where you were sort of like looking around like, okay, where's the business, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And you can hear that again and again, that like if you do a startup dental office, especially if you're out of network with insurances, it's going to be slow at the beginning, but you cannot truly appreciate that until you've
got to live it.
Yeah. Until you're sitting there twirling your thumbs and like, wow. And at that point I was in 2023, I would have been 7 years into my career. So you're really like getting into the prime of your ability and speed and all those things. And you're like, I'm doing nothing. I'm not making money.
Because I have to imagine that dentistry is one of those things where it's like you want people want personal referrals. So it takes time to kind of get that Rolodex of people that are going to be able to spread the word that, hey, these are the guys to go to. And then reviews, right? Like you need a lot of reviews to be able to be like, okay, this is the place that I want to go.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like the slow and steady build from word of mouth and from those reviews. And, you know, you can spend tens of thousands of dollars on marketing, but even so, like it may not necessarily, it's still kind of a slow drip. And so it's more like just building that momentum, but it is, man, it's brutal in the beginning. So nobody feels bad for dentists, but anyway.
Do you remember that pain though? Can you still feel that when you think back to those early weeks where you're just sort of like, okay, I can only clean the fridge so many times? And
oh yeah. And just trying, like I wanted my assistants to get their hours. So just like making up stuff for them to do and like
you're paying
organizing processes yeah,
all the doubts. But here you are, and you know what we're excited about is your story's so on brand with Attorneys on Accident, right? With this whole idea that life works for you and not against you, and you know, to flow with it and not resist it. And so here you are, you've got this practice, it's slow, you're scared, you got the doubts. You get a phone call?
We get a phone call.
You get a phone call that changes everything?
We get a phone call that changes everything. So our office manager walked back and she said, somebody just called and they're asking if you'll do vampire fangs. Mm-hmm. And I was like, vampire fangs? And she's like, yeah. And I thought about it for a second and I was like, yeah, we'll do it. Like, come on. Literally do anything.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll figure this out. Had you done them before?
No. Absolutely not.
Had you seen them before?
Did you know it was a thing?
No, because this was now like Machine Gun Kelly has them, and there's some other like celebs that I've seen. But at the time, no, I didn't know. I'd not heard of anybody doing them. I'd never seen them on somebody. So but I was like, all right, I have so much training in cosmetic dentistry and occlusion, like bite, chewing, the most boring stuff ever, but like I have all the pieces in my head, like I can conceptualize how we can do this, but let's give it a go.
Did you know who she was at the time?
No,
because she was somebody, right?
She her name's Blair. She's awesome. She had, you know, at least a few 100,000 followers on TikTok or Instagram. I was not following many vampires at the time.
That was not a fetish of yours.
Now I am, and at the time I wasn't. Yeah. So for all intents and purposes, she was just some random person that wanted fangs. So we did them. She came in, and
they look great.
Yeah, we tried it out, and she was super happy with them. And I was like, well, that was fun.
And these are permanent?
Yeah, so they're composite, so like tooth-colored filling material. Not quite the same stuff you use when you get a filling. It's more polishable and nicer looking, but they are bonded on your teeth. In theory, I could take them off. No one's ever really wanted them off, but I could take them off and the full
really, so typically when people do it, they want them for life. It's not just like a phase or for Oktoberfest or Halloween Fest or like some.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, at least now 2.5 years in, nobody's really gotten sick of them. So
it's more of a permanent thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I thought it might be like seasonal. Like, okay, I got it out of my system.
I'm gonna be honest. I was on the Instagram today, and
don't say what you're about to say.
They're kind of cute.
Don't say,
like, come on by.
This is why we work. We have different. We're gonna get into it later, but this is what you know.
I know my fiance is already looking at them. He's like, absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
like my tattoo-free arms.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get both the, veiled questions on my end for sure when we get into the psychology of it, kind of the social implications. But before we go down all that stuff, you didn't really hesitate. You just were like a couple seconds, and you're like, "Let's go. Let's give it a go."
Yeah, I mean, it was something to do, and so we did hers, and she posted about it, and like I said, had a few 100,000 followers, and then we got a trickle of people after that. That was in probably like September of that year, so just a few weeks after we'd opened, and then between then and the end of the year, maybe did 5 other sets of fangs.
Okay, so it wasn't like immediate.
A few, yeah, and then it kind of died off, and I was like, all right, well, like that was fun, but
yeah,
little
chapter.
Yeah, and then couple more came a few months later, and then the thing is, everybody that gets them loves to post about it. They immediately, it's cool and it's different, and it is different. Great content for them. And so it is the most, when people get a smile makeover with veneers, they want to keep that on the down low. They want people to wonder, did they get their tooth redone?
Right.
Like, they want it to look real natural. When you get fangs, you want people to see. You want people to ask you, whoa, are those permanent? Because that's kind of the novelty of it. So, people were posting, and it started building up more and more until, at some weeks I'm doing 10 sets of fangs.
It's so funny is you're sitting here talking about fangs, and I'm thinking all my conservative thoughts about how crazy this is, and, kind of fringe. And then it's like every Christmas or birthday, it seems like we had the fake plastic fangs, and you're putting them in your mouth, and you're pretending to be a vampire. You have the teeth, right? So there's something deeper there.
It's not any different than getting a piercing or getting a tattoo.
It's different.
It's not.
It's different.
It's not.
Have you seen anybody with fangs? I've seen lots with
no, but
it's
tattoos. Especially I think when the celebrities start doing it, right? Where it's like, it's something different. It's something expressive. I do think they're cute. They're,
You can't be different with tattoos anymore. Everybody has
exactly.
tattoos.
Yeah. And when you were seeing somebody with a piercing, in the septum, right? Like, or in between their nose or in the eyebrow, like that was, or their tongue, at the time that was pretty exotic.
Right. It was. I remember the first time seeing an eyebrow piercing, and you're kind of like, what's going on? What is it?
Yeah. And then it wasn't, because it, went mainstream.
Yeah, that's true. I remember on Friends, the girl had the belly button ring, and it was just, next thing you know, you're like, I guess that's a thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is the next thing. But I mean, a lot of the patients that come in for fangs, this is not their first body modification. There's split tongues and, piercings.
Do you split the tongues?
I don't do tongue splits.
I do regular splits?
I stay in my lane. Yeah. I can't do regular splits either. But yeah, facial tattoos and piercings all over the place, and but like the coolest people ever. Like that's part of the fun of it, is like I get to meet all these like really interesting people that love that there's somebody that doesn't judge them for wanting to do this, because a lot of them ask their home dentist, and they're like, well, it can't be done, and
you're weird.
Yeah. And so it's like, ironically, coming from somebody who was very Mormon and went to BYU with 35,000 other me's that were clean shaven and clean haircut, I'm the one that's like, this is awesome, let's go for it, let's do it.
You're not watching, this guy's got a beard and longer hair than goes below his earlobes. So very
he's gonna have fangs soon.
Yeah,
maybe
that's happened over time, but so they're just stoked that it's like a judgment-free zone, and they get to do this cool thing, and somebody who knows what they're doing.
When you take the taboo away from it, I mean, you felt strongly about my tattoos for a really long time, I feel like. And like, for me, it's just a canvas, right? Like, that's really all it is. Like, my skin is an opportunity for me to express something or another. It's no different than sketching in a notebook.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more than enhancement, right? It's not whitening your teeth. It's not straightening your teeth. It's permanent. I mean, you can remove them, but they're doing it, and it's permanent. You've never hesitated or had a thought of like kind of feeling a little bit of maybe professional shame, or like just sort of like, okay, people aren't going to take me serious as a cosmetic dentist. I'm going to be just the fang doctor.
Especially at the beginning, I was very nervous to like have my name associated with that, or like, especially because what we were trying to build, this like luxury,
right? And
we have literally like billionaires as patients, and you should see the dichotomy in the waiting room sometimes.
Just a slow pan on the camera.
Yeah,
you got it.
I love it.
No one accusing you of not being diverse and your clients.
I remember, like, speaking of attorneys, we reached out to our attorney, and I guess I should include that in the story. When she asked, this girl wants to know if you can do fangs, I was like, yes, let me double check with our attorney. And they were like, we think so. Give us a second. And then like got back to us the next day and they were like, all right, yeah, you can do that. Here's a consent sheet. You need to have them sign. But I think as more time has gone on and I've gotten less, ashamed wasn't the right. I never felt ashamed, but just nervous and like sharing that. So many dentists have reached out and been like, this is so awesome.
They're supportive. So cool. I mean, have you had the conservative that's just like, hey, you're bringing down our profession?
Not for the most part. Not from dentists who know what they're talking about. Okay. An occasional Twitter dentist or right. It's more from people that aren't dentists. But one of my friends, Adamo, at the time was the president of the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry, and he did in his practice a set of composite fangs, and like shouted me out in the caption saying like channeling my inner Dr. Tom Lawler, and I was like, I'm good. Like if anybody comes at me like
I'm the fang doctor.
Yeah,
because you're the biggest in the country, right?
That's me, yeah. But I mean, I don't have a ton of competition, but
well, you might after this podcast.
Maybe, yeah.
Sorry if the people.
But when patients come in and they're like, "Can we do blank, like this kind of shape, or could we do gold ones?" Or I always tell them the same thing. I'm like, "There's no dental school class on this. There's no textbook on
Fangs
this.
101.
There's no one to ask." I was like, "I think so. Let's try it, and we're gonna figure out together." And there are some things where it's like, no, that's not going to work. I can't do lower fangs on you. You're going to crash into those with your bite or whatever. But I say like, there's no one to ask. Like I'm the person to ask. And I get messages all the time from dentists. Like somebody wants fangs. Like, how should I do this? And so,
have you done a continuing education on it?
I haven't gotten to that point yet. Maybe
that's coming.
Maybe that's next. I don't know if there's enough.
Yeah. Are a lot of your patients from Las Vegas, or are they coming from all over the country?
Are they flying in?
I'd say 95% fly in from out of town.
Wow.
So there's a handful, but
you put them up at the Orleans, real fancy.
Yeah, only the best.
I'm so judgy. Whatever. I would have them, and I could afford better New Orleans. Thank you very much.
My only real competition in the space are people that are not actually dentists, that work out of like tattoo shops or body mod shops. That's technically illegal. It is illegal to use restorative materials in the mouth and dental bonding.
Mm-hmm. Get your fake ID, get your fangs, get your tattoo.
It's not like, I'm not overly concerned about it. It's not like I'm going to like turn these people in, but I think enough of the potential patients realize like it's probably better to have this done by actual dentist, and especially like cosmetically trained dentists.
So people are going to want to know like what's it cost? Can you bite into anything? Will they break off if you bite into like an apple or anything like that?
Yeah, so currently it's $700 a tooth, and then we always recommend that everybody get an Invisalign retainer to wear at night, because a lot of people tell me like I don't grind my teeth, and I'm like, you'll find out real quick if you actually do once you have long canines. You can bite into, I always tell people you can bite into like soft to medium foods, hard foods. You shouldn't like lever off of them. Anything you got to put muscle into.
So you're giving up some of that food.
Yeah. And like, don't bite your nails with them. Don't use them as tools to like rip open a bag or something like that.
Does it create a lisp at all?
No.
That's a good question.
Amazingly, like very little speech changes. The only times it's ever problems is when people want to go like, they're like, I want these as long as they can possibly go. It'll more like, at some point, it'll start to snag on their lower lip a little bit.
That's the look they're going for. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right?
And so that can affect speech a little, but even then it's almost like people that do Invisalign where they have like a lisp for a few days and then their brain kind of figures out the spot and they get used to it.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for fangs, Ash. You would do them before me for sure.
I would.
We do a trial run. We could do.
Okay. Now we're talking. I would subtle ones. Like those were.
That's probably
meant to be like that, or they're not meant to be like that.
That's my number one request. Is people saying I want subtle ones where people wonder if you actually got them done.
Yeah. See, I'm onto something.
We had one girl that she was like, I'm going home in 3 weeks. I didn't tell my family, or she was going home for Thanksgiving. She was like, I didn't tell my family that I was doing this. I was like, you think they'll notice? She was like, my dad's a retired dentist.
Yeah, he's going to notice.
I was like, just gaslight him.
So I think you've kind of answered the question, but I do want to make sure, like, I've come away from this understanding, like, you don't feel like any psychological responsibility. Like, someone comes in for veneers, that's an easy conversation. They come in with fangs. That's not a different conversation where you're thinking, do I need to drill down on the motivation? Is there any, like, that's never entering your mind. It's just like, hey, they want to have vampire fangs. I can do it. And that's where is that where it ends for you? Or do you ever have any, or you're like on the fence?
I think there are definitely times when, given like how their teeth are set up, if they have an underbite or crowding in some kind of way where it's just not possible. I always have them, when they're coming from out of town, they send a picture of their teeth beforehand so that I can see what their bite looks like and make sure they don't waste a trip out here.
But I'm talking more on the psychological side of things.
But I think you just think it's weird because it's unusual. We had Dr. Debbie Burchard on here that was doing leg lengthenings. Does he have that conversation? I had a breast reduction.
I was curious.
Did my doctor have that conversation with me? No.
I'm curious though. Like, it just doesn't ever enter your mind. Like, you're just simply, is it going to affect their bite? You're not getting to know them and finding out if they've got some trauma or they were bit as a kid.
I don't. Maybe I should bring Chrissy in to do like insurance
be with you
therapy. Yeah. No, I think at this point, to me, it's kind of like anything else that somebody wants. Like they want to redo their whole smile with veneers. Like, all right, that's what you want to do. You want to do fangs? All right, that's what you want to do.
But you'll work in a little bit of like, listen, if you go that long, it might be more difficult to eat this or to...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm giving them a head...
You will give them all the warnings.
Yeah, exactly. And like, they want them really sharp. And I said, I'll tell them like, sharp points don't exist naturally in the human mouth. We chew side to side, they get worn. If you break a tooth and it's sharp, you'll wear it like smooth over time, naturally. So you're likely going to chip it if you do that, or it's just going to wear down. So I let them know on things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever they want to do. And
that's why they sign that consent form.
A lot of times they've already been thinking about it for a long time and have done way more research. They typically don't come in with a whole bunch of questions. They're just like, let's go. We're ready to go.
Well, if anybody ever comes back and sues you for like, you did the teeth, they go bite somebody, Ash will look over that case, right? You happily step in.
Perfect.
Defend him from that. So do you think there's something bigger going on here in terms of a cultural shift where identity's just, becoming more and more fluid, and if you feel it, you should do it? I mean, do you feel like you're part of this cultural shift?
Yeah, I think so in some way, for sure. Just trying to be... again, going back to everybody has tattoos, it's trying to be unique and stand out in a world where, that's harder and harder to do. For some of them, the range of people I see is incredible. There's people that look like they could just be a librarian.
Really?
It's like, really?
You want fangs, yeah.
Yeah.
The librarian wants fangs.
Exactly. Or, some of them have loved vampires since they were a kid, and mostly it's just like this kind of alternative style. And now, again, with like, MGK or whatever that got him, now it turns into like this high style, just kind of alt.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm
equally weird to have gold teeth, right? But
yeah,
I feel like I'm in the minority, and the three of us here.
You'll open up to,
but Ash, let me just say this, like, is that not just a reflection of humans getting less and less comfortable being human and feeling like they've got to enter this fantasy world and of vampires and creatures and altering and changing who you are as just how we come?
I think it's very different, right? Like, so I'm going to push back on this a lot. And I actually think that it's a little hypocritical, because if you don't think that there's anything weird about the guy who makes people taller, or the fake tan that you put on your body,
We're gonna edit that out, by the way. I'm calm and not worried because that's getting edited.
You don't think that there's anything wrong with the veneers that I have? You're being a huge supporter of my breast reduction. Like, if you don't think that there's anything wrong with those things because in your mind, aesthetically, this is what looks good, there's just people out there that aesthetically think other things look good. I like my tattoos.
Yeah.
Other people don't. And it is, for me, an expression. I am an artistic person. I like design, and I do want to stand out from a crowd. So I think if I got fangs, it would have nothing to do with the fact that I want to be a vampire. It would be that aesthetically, I want somebody to look at my mouth and go, that's different.
Just being just something different.
Yeah, just being something
different. Do you
different.
see any like CEOs or people that have high profile jobs do this? Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the librarian, but is there any other ones where you're kind of like, wow, like that's courageous or bold?
I've done at least one set on someone who was active military, and I was like, are you sure your commanding officer is gonna be okay with this?
Yeah, I was gonna see a drill sergeant yelling at things.
Were they subtle, or were they
not particularly? They're kind of medium length. Yeah,
not particularly?
I love how he stays like, no, not really.
I think she first looked at him and was like, all right, maybe we got to go like a little shorter. She's kind of looking at, because they're less apparent when you're biting down. She was like, how can I hide this, basically?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have a lot of OnlyFans models that do it.
So you mentioned it, you said it. I tried to hold out as long as I could. Your Instagram handle is?
OnlyFangs.
Say it again in case people didn't catch it.
OnlyFangs.
With how many S's?
It's got 3 S's.
The S's or the N's?
It's the S's.
Oh, okay.
You know who owns the Instagram handle for OnlyFangs with the 1 S? It's a kittens account that has kittens yawning and showing their fangs.
Seriously?
So,
and they won't sell it to you because I told your wife.
It's like an
That
inactive
is a
account.
wild
like
place.
he has to buy the OnlyFangs without the double S, and she's like, oh, he's tried.
Yeah, it's an inactive account. They haven't posted for like 7 years.
Gotta run them down. It's
I know.
valuable.
Yeah, I got to figure this out. So
Just don't look desperate. Let's be like casual about it.
yeah, $50.
Yeah. I'm telling you, flew across the country to.
Right. Yeah.
So OnlyFangs, and do you have a website too? Because that could be dangerous if your 4 girls ever.
We don't have a dedicated website for OnlyFangs. It's mostly just the Instagram. There's a page on the Vegas Smile Suite website that gives the nod to permanent fangs. So, but yeah, it's mostly done through Instagram, and that's how a lot of people reach out.
Are you guys planning a big marketing campaign for OnlyFangs?
We just did branding and a big video shoot that is awesome. It is really cool.
Why are you excited about that? What is it about it?
Well, again, it kind of goes back to me being a little hesitant to totally own it and like make it a big thing and like have it connected with the practice name. And now it was just like, all right, let's do this. And so we got an amazing videographer who shot really cool video with, interviews and around Vegas and just these cool shots. And we made a new brand or like a new logo and gave it this whole vibe. Whereas before it was just kind of, I mean, even now, because I still haven't really, we're waiting to get all that back, but it was just kind of pictures that I would post of the cases that we'd done and, nothing really tied to it. So we're going to have an identity now.
What does your partner think about it?
She's all for it. Yeah, she's done several sets of fangs too. Like on days that I'm gone, if somebody needed that day, like she'll hop in and do it. So, yeah, I think she maybe worries about what some of the normal patients think. Seeing the.
Have you gotten any feedback from them?
No.
I think you just said the normal patient.
Yeah. I think for the most part, they think, they just think it's kind of like a fun, quirky thing. That's the best part, honestly, is like, talking to somebody at a party and it's like, what do you do? It's like, I'm a dentist. And they're like, wah, wah. Like, what am I going to, what follow-up questions am I going to ask you? And then somebody will be like, yes, bang.
Tell me about the last filling you did.
Yeah.
You know, did you really hurt them? Like, did they hate it?
Yeah. Does everybody hate you? Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because it's like, I think we're far enough in this conversation where I picked up a pattern. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm going to try to psychoanalyze you a little bit.
All right, bring
Nothing negative. But you moved to Germany, and not every kid's going to be like, yay, Germany, you know, and it's a new country, new culture. That could have the opposite effect on a kid, but you're like, you loved it. Dentist says, hey, do you want to watch? Yeah, sure. Let's check it out. Somebody gives you a call. Do you do fangs? Pick them up. Let's give it a go, right? Have you always been that naturally open to just new experiences and where life takes you? Or is that something you feel like you cultivated?
Oh, good question. I don't know if I have always been so into it. I'm often resistant in that way at times.
Really?
You know, the Germany thing, I loved it, but I was so depressed when we first moved there. I never switched the time zone schedule and would just stay up till like 1 a.m. listening to CDs and
your protest.
Yeah. But and I try and instill this in my kids too. It's like every opportunity and like good thing in my life, maybe not every, but most of the opportunities like that come from just showing up and like being willing to do something or try something. When the more closed off you stay, like you're just walling yourself off from being able to do cool things. And yeah, sometimes the universe presents you a certain path. Sometimes you get that phone call and could have just as easily said like, that seems weird. Like, I don't think we should do it, which most of the dentists, when they get asked to do it, that's what they say. So
you said, let's see where this goes. And it wasn't like it just took off, right? Like you said, it was kind of dipped there for a minute. And so, okay, we had a fun season, but then look at you now. You're rocking the podcast, talking about OnlyFangs.
Here we go. Yeah.
Potentially getting like the best Instagram handle on that. Not the 3S one, but the 1S one.
That's right.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I mean, like I mentioned, I read an article about Dr. Drew, you know, that name.
Yeah.
And at the end of the article, it said, you know, asking him about success and how he got here. And it was not a very sexy response. He was just like, doors open, and I walked through them, and it was kind of like, wow, you know. But the more I thought about it, it's kind of what you just alluded to.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
Doors open for people and us and everyone all the time. And how much of it is just that attitude of like, well, no, that's weird. That's strange. Fangs, vampire fangs. I'm a cosmetic dentist. I just built this amazing fancy office. And, you know, that you could think all these negative things. That's going to bring down my reputation. What are other clients going to think if they're sitting next to somebody and they've got the facial tattoos and the piercings?
See, and I feel like that's what I would say to people that think that it's weird, right? Is that when I'm hearing you say all of this, I am thinking about how much of the decisions that you're making is based on what societal expectations are. So everybody that's coming in that wants fangs and are getting their tongues split, they're people that are living on their own accord.
Well, and that's what you've taught me so much of, right? You know, not to take you out of the conversation, but we're going to have a chat. We're going to have a chat here. But like, that's what I love about Ash and being partners with you is you've helped me so much. Just kind of go, hey, other perspective, lots of ways to live a great, meaningful life. And you know, I try to lean into that and go, well, okay, well, like, let me learn from you and maybe you can learn from me. And I think that's so valuable. And your partner, she's, you know, you have a female partner. Is there an age difference?
She's 7 years older than me.
Okay. And how have you found that? Because for Ash and I, it's been just this awesome symbiotic thing where she's got all these different strengths and perspectives. What's it been like for you in that partnership?
Really easy. So I have all sisters.
You do? I've got 5.
You have 5 sisters?
Yeah, that's where we're going to hang out after this.
All right. Yeah.
I'm feeling a kinship.
Yeah. So I've got 3 older sisters. I've got all daughters. I have 4 daughters.
Wow.
Surrounded by
dentistry, and including right now, you primarily work with all women. So I don't know. It comes easy in that way to have a female partner, and she's great, and we get along well. But it's probably easier than if I was with another guy. Honestly.
Because I'll say it if you're not going to, because you don't have the ego. Like that's
there's not that clashing.
There's not that like, you know, you talk about your feelings, you just air it out when there's a problem, right?
Yeah. And I always say, like, I wish people could have, like, be a fly on the wall for when we make important decisions. It's not like this, like, massive, opinionated coming together. It's like, so we need to make a decision on, the marketing.
What do you think?
Yeah. And then she's like, well, I don't know. You want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, sounds good. And I think if one of us has a strong opinion, the other just defaults to that. And it's like, okay, fine,
like
let's do that.
Opposite of what you see on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
You're just like, yes, yeah, sure.
So you'd be amazed at how many like incredible things actually that have worked out really well. It started as like those kind of conversations.
Without the friction.
Yeah. So, and people will ask like, I'm thinking about partnering. Like, what do I need to look for? What do I need to do? And it's like, I don't even know. Like, be lucky. Like, I know so many people who have tried to do partnerships in dentistry and in other fields too, where it, 2 years and
Say be lucky.
Yeah.
That's awesome advice.
Just be lucky.
I think that's a good point though. I think for me and Joe's partnership, because we're different, we kind of care about different things. And so there's things that I'll just defer to him on because he cares a lot about it and I don't, and vice versa. And it's really easy to have that kind of relationship where it's like we pick our battles.
Yeah. Well, 1 to 10, how important is this to you? And
totally.
And a lot of it for me is in the 1 to 2 to 3. So just like whatever you think, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I've loved it, and just I don't want to leave this podcast with everyone thinking that I haven't shifted. Like I'm not. I'm gonna surprise you one day. Actually, you know what? I already know what to give you for Christmas. I'm gonna show up with fangs. I might have you take them off 2 days later, so don't put on like the super glue, like the
we can you do like removable ones too that look.
I'm all about
natural.
Because I always argue the case for like tattoos, like the henna that goes like a couple months. I just didn't love the permanency, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there's a happy medium. Guys like me can do like
something.
A week.
I got something for you.
Flag. There you go.
You just got to get ready because it's going to be a movement,
So seriously though, like, wait, do you think it is? Like,
I do.
Do you think we're at the forefront of something where like you're going to start seeing people on the street?
Elephant teeth coming in.
I got a text.
Yes, us.
Yeah, I got a text from my friends that were out on Fremont Street on Saturday night, all like smiling and holding thumbs up with a guy that I'd done fangs on, and they're like, "We saw one in the wild." But
in the wild,
if
saw one in the wild,
not to keep using the tattoo example, but if you go back to like when we were kids, if I think back in like the 90s, if I saw somebody with tattoos, you were either
skater.
Well, even before that, like you were either former military,
right,
or in a biker gang. Like it just wasn't that much.
One of the two.
No, that is true. It was pretty rare. You forget it was only a few decades ago.
And now when I go to the gym, it is more rare to see totally clean arms.
Oh, I have to jump in because I went to California. Where'd I go? It was down by Ventura. And we go down there to visit the in-laws, and we go to a taco stand, and this has never happened to me. But we're down there. They got the beach cruisers and all Hispanic. We stick out. But the guy comes up and he's just like, you know how I know you're not from here? It's the first thing he said. And we're like, we're white? And he laughed. He's like, no, you have no tattoos. He's like, none of you have any tattoos. And then I looked around and the line for the taco stand, arm sleeves.
Every single person.
And it was just he thought it was so funny. He's like, not because you're white, because you don't have any. There's plenty of white people.
You lost, bro?
Yeah, you lost. Get some tattoos and come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
So we're going through our 90s for fangs, but we're gonna be getting into the 2000s here soon. So
okay, well that's amazing. There was one other thing I wanted to ask you. I'll come back to it, but ask him our question.
Oh, okay. Yes. So we're attorneys on accident because we feel like we fell into the roles that we're in. Now we're podcasters. I mean, surely you're the OnlyFangs master by accident, but just dentistry in general and where you are in life. Do you feel like you've gotten there by accident?
Yeah. I mean, wait, what do most people answer?
It's actually a completely it's like a third. Some people are like in the middle. Some are like absolutely. And that's what's fun about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's a couple of ways you could approach that. Like, do I feel like the universe maybe nudged me in certain directions or like set me up for something? I kind of feel that way a little bit, but like it happened on accident in that this was definitely never the plan. There was a time in my life where I was the last person you would ever expect to be putting fangs on people. So yeah, in that way, it did happen on accident, but then I can also look back at different things in my life and be like, man, maybe I was getting pushed in this direction. So
yeah. What do you attribute that shift to, right? You kind of alluded to it a couple times that like there was a time in your life where you had short hair and you probably no beard and you were real clean cut, and now you got some longer hair, now you're putting fangs on people. What do you attribute that to?
I mean, growing up Mormon is it's very black and white religion for a lot of people. I know people that can live in the gray area, and that is not my personality type. I was 100%, I was all in. Nobody worked harder on their mission than me. Like nobody was like more dedicated, believing like, and then I just got to a point in my life while I was in dental school where I wanted to dive deeper and understand things more. And it kind of came crashing down where I was like, I'm not sure that I can believe this anymore. And so that's the fork in the road where it's like, do I pretend or like, am I honest with myself? And I was like, I don't want to like fake this. This isn't what I believe. So I had to have like an entire reset of my whole
identity
yeah. In my community, my morals, my
worldview,
my eternal view, like all of the above. And I think it is a hard thing and an awful thing, but at the same time, like once you do that it's easier to change your opinion or your beliefs on other things and be more open-minded, I would guess.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on with that assessment. Like because then it's like, okay, well, I was so convinced in this one thing, like the most important thing, so convinced, and then now I'm not. Well, then what's not on the table in terms of like being open for question and maybe not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to this day, like there's nothing that like gains my respect quicker than when I can see somebody change their opinion instead of like doubling down on something once.
So you respect me because I came into this a little bit less, like, but I know really like genuinely I'm softened to the idea of like, okay, you know what? If this makes somebody genuinely happy and they've always loved vampires or whatever the motive, right? That's not for me to really say or care about. Like, okay, I'm used to only seeing straight, perfect, teeth. I've got 2 brother-in-laws that are orthodontists and right, they've convinced me that's the way. So thank you for showing me that it might be.
Glad I could bring you to the light.
Yeah, and some professional advice. Go buy only, you said tusks?
Only tusks.
Yeah, get ahead of all of the new
other animals too.
Yeah, just get ahead of all of it before you have
only beaks.
Yeah,
we'll stretch this out.
Yeah, we got to have you thinking bigger than just only fangs.
Okay.
So, but Tom Lawler, thank you for coming on. That was a fascinating conversation, and I don't think you're wrong. I think that this is something that I joked on the way here. Like I've been primed to see fangs now because I've been reading and studying and learning about it and thinking of the questions to ask you. And as I'm driving here, I look up and see this billboard where it looks down at me, and this girl has fangs and she's just growling, and it says "Horror Unleashed." And I'm like, oh man, am I going to see fangs everywhere I go now? So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and our listeners are probably going to start seeing fangs everywhere they go.
Perfect.
But come back on in a year or two, and we want to hear how things are progressing. And if you just open up we might just see on Wallapai and on the street that just fangs only or something.
Totally. Well, thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, and your wife's not completely wrong. You were a good conversation.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you were a good chat.
I was worried.
So thanks, Tom.
All right, thank you.